Wow, what an absolutely packed week of megas just hit the UK and Ireland shores. As per usual, it was Ireland and the other islands, Scilly and Shetland, that got most of the good stuff. Probably the biggest mega find was at Bempton Cliffs, a white-throated needletail. One was recorded in Yorkshire way back on the 27th of May, 1985. Other than that, the first documented occurrence is Essex, 1846. Other records include sightings in Hampshire, 1879, and more recent ones, notably in Orkney, 1988, Shetland, 91, and Harris in the Outer Hebrides, 2013. It's considered the fastest bird in level flight, clocked at up to 170 kilometers an hour, 105 miles per hour. That's faster than a cheetah and nearly as fast as some small airplanes. It beats the common swift and peregrine falcon in level, not diving, flight. These birds breed in Central Asia and southern Siberia, then migrate thousands of kilometers to Australia for the winter. They're occasionally spotted as vagrants in Europe, including rare appearances in the UK. Birdwatchers understandably go wild when that happens. They spend almost their entire life on the wing, feeding, drinking, and even sleeping while flying. They catch insects midair and drink by skimming water surfaces at high speed. White-throated needletails nest in tree hollows, cliffs, and sometimes old woodpecker holes. Unlike swallows, they don't build mud nests, they prefer natural cavities. Needletail refers to their short, sharp tail feathers, which help them steer and stabilize at high speed. The whitethroat is a small but distinctive patch that contrasts with their dark metallic body. West Island has seen a string of American birds arrive along its coast, as well as a Swainson's thrush that has been showing there since last week. We've had a red-eyed vireo appear on Tory Island, Donegal. South of that, on the mainland, two harlequin ducks. It has been suggested it may be the first for Ireland, but there is a report of one in County Cork in 2016, although noted under records not proven. Then there was a grey-cheeked thrush, very similar looking to our song thrush on Tory Island, Donegal as well. Several sightings of American pipits in Ireland and Scilly, very similar to our meadow pipits. The red-tailed Turkestan shrike is still giving everyone great photos. I'm reading of twitchers who have made 10-hour round trips to see it. A bared sandpiper has been seen at Rutland Water, and a couple more elsewhere in the country. The barred warblers up in Shetland continue to show very well and give everybody great pictures. A pallid harrier has been present near Reculver in Kent for several days, as well as long-staying ones in Glamorgan, Wales. A bluethroat has been present at RSPB Otmore for a few days. There's also one up in Shetland. Several common rosefinch sightings across Shetland as well. Basically, Shetland seems to be getting a mix of vagrants from both east and west, including an ortolan bunting, a bird I missed a few times in Lesvos back in May. Then they had a western subalpine warbler. I got the eastern one in Lesvos. The mega Siberian thrush is still thrilling everyone lucky enough to have travelled up there. And a little group of blue-winged teal that are still hanging around nearby. Back to Cork Island, a western Burnelli's warbler. Just along from there, in Waterford, the Isabelline wheatear showing up again. Down the road a bit further east from there, a northern harrier in Tecumseh, in the same area, a semi-palmated sandpiper. Over the water to St David's, Pembrokeshire, a brown shrike showed up. The long-staying western sandpiper is still at Maidens, Ayrshire. A Richard's cackling goose is hanging out with a flock of barnacle geese in the Outer Hebrides. Short-eared owl sightings are starting to grow, Chiswick, Kent, and an undisclosed location in Essex. The Walberswick sitting cisticolas are showing well again. At least two have been spotted in the area they bred. Also up that way, near Great Yarmouth, a juvenile red-footed falcon put in a couple of appearances. A brief appearance of a red-backed shrike, the Turkestan shrike, was on Tory Island, Donegal. Turtle doves, Tipperary Island, and Cornwall has had multiple sightings of them. As well as a snow bunting that's been present at Minnis Bay, Kent for several days, there's also been one with the Zitting cisticola in Walberswick. There are two lesser yellowleg locations close to each other, Teton Maxey Pits, Cambridgeshire, and South Wootton, Norfolk. Glossy ibis numbers are still right up there, even though the influx was over a month ago. The greater short-toed lark is still showing well in Snettisham. The Ross's goose in Lancashire that showed up late last week at the Crosslands Outer Marsh, origin still unknown, whether it's truly wild or an escapee. Now on the 7th of October, a mourning dove appeared at St Agnes, Scilly, another mega highlight. Early reports suggest it's a first for Scilly, but not for the UK. The first official British recorded mourning dove accepted for the British list was the first winter individual at Kerinish, North Ulst, Outer Hebrides. Photograph 13 to 15 November 1999. There is an earlier record from 31st of October 1989 on the Calf of Man, Isle of Man, of a first winter mourning dove, but Isle of Man records do not form part of the British list. Midweek, Scilly was the centre of some amazing action. Several sightings of an American pipit, a hoopoe, red-breasted flycatcher, and spotted flycatcher, little bunting, rosy starling, and wryneck. Now some news from around the world. Australia's vanishing hunter. High above northern Australia's forests soars one of the country's rarest predators, the red goshawk. It's a fierce copper-feathered raptor that ambushes parrots and lorikeets in mid-flight, but these days it's vanishing fast. Over the past century, this species has lost more than a third of its range and now is endangered, possibly gone from much of eastern Australia. Habitat clearing, hotter bushfires and climate change have pushed it to the edges of survival. Yet there's hope. On Tiwi Island, Indigenous rangers are working with scientists to protect nesting sites, and just this year a red goshawk was spotted in central Australia, the first sighting there in 30 years. Meanwhile, in Florida, a grey gull, normally found along the Atacama Desert coast of Chile and Peru, has been hanging around the shore. This isn't just a rare bird for Florida, it's one of the few ever recorded in the entire United States. What's fascinating is that grey gulls actually breed deep inland in desert salt flats, then commute over 50 miles to feed at the ocean. Off the coast of Bodega Bay, California, birders were stunned this week when a waved albatross appeared. This species usually breeds almost exclusively in Hispaniola Island in the Galapagos and roams tropical parts of the Pacific, never this far north. So the sighting marks a first record for the entire ABA area, basically all of North America's birding community. It's a big deal because the waved albatross is critically endangered, with fewer than 20,000 left. The fact that one made it to California might reflect changing wind or ocean current patterns. And finally, the most heartwarming story this week. A Spix's macaw, the brilliant blue parrot from Brazil, has hatched in a zoo in Belgium. This species was declared extinct in the wild more than 25 years ago, and it inspired the movie Rio. This chick is part of a global breeding program aimed at reintroducing the species into protected areas in Brazil's Caatinga region. Okay folks, that's the UK and world bird news for this week, and I'll speak to you next week.